Hello, and welcome to another wonderful day with Dr. Dahan Live Show. Thank you very much for joining us. If at any time you have any questions, feel free to call us at 888-67-DAHAN, 888-2426. I'll be more than happy to answer your question. You can also email all your questions at drdahan@dahanlive.com. The subject that I want to discuss today is called time management. How do we maximize time management? Time is a very important commodity. It's probably the most important commodity of all the commodities that we have in the world, if you think about it. You can make more money, you can change a lot of the things in your life, but one thing you cannot do is get more time. It's impossible. There's just no way to do that. There's a connection between appreciating yourself and respecting time. Time, as I said, is something that each and every one of us is only given a certain amount. As a matter of fact, the best kept secret of the rich people is that they only have 24 hours. But guess what? The best kept secret of all people and the poor people, everyone, is only about 24 hours. The difference between time is not the difference between them. The difference is between the time management. What do they do with it? And how do they communicate with their work? Life expects us to do measurable progress in a reasonable amount of time. That is the key component of what we do. Lifestyle is figuring out a way to live uniquely in the best way that is of what you want to do with it, of what you're trying to accomplish. Because it is an art, it's a study, it's a practice, it's an awareness. It's something that you have to decide and design exactly for yourself. Because happiness, you should know, it's not an accident. Happiness is an art. And you should know that when things happen, the darkness itself cannot exist in the presence of light. Since it's the absence of light, that's what created it. And this is how it makes a difference. And so what do we have to do? How do we expect to grow? Where do we need to do, and what do we need to grow in order to make sure that this happens? Life does not expect extraordinary things from us. You've heard this before, I'm sure, but I'd like to repeat it. It expects us to do simple things in an extraordinary way. Now, since with this, and as professionals, we always want to make sure that things are better. An enterprising person is the one that comes across a pile of scrap metal. And when most people see this literally pile of scrap metal, and that's all they see, that person, an enterprising person, sees a wonderful sculpture. And that's the thing, how you're able to see something which has not been created yet. That's the management of time. Because you can go into the future before everybody else. To maximize your time, therefore, what must you do? How could you do this? And it is that if you wish to be satisfied with your could achieve, it has to match your want to achieve. See the difference? Those differences are important because in this difference, it's what you make it to be in such a way where you get what you want at the time that you want it, in such a way that you are, considered the person that watches the time at all times and what they need to do. Life needs order. It needs order in three categories. The category that we have, one is the personal, the spiritual, and the professional. And you have to think about your past, your present, and the future. I call it the PSP. Personal, spiritual, and professional are always in front of you. And you always ask yourself, have I maximized my time? Have I made the best of those areas at any given time? And that's where it makes a difference. If you care at all in what you do, you'll get some results. But if you care enough, you'll get incredible results. And that's where it makes a difference. So let's go over time management and let's keep it in perspective. Number one, keep everything in perspective. Okay? Everything. Keep it in perspective. That means that you take advice from others, but not orders. You can get other people to tell you what they think, but don't take that orders. Don't be a follower. Be a leader. So I want to hear what other people have to say, but I have to keep it all in perspective whether or not it matches with what I want to do, what I'm trying to do. Number two, work smarter. Figure out a way where you manage things in a smarter way. And it's interesting, in the planner which I created, in the planner, I broke down the concepts as to each and every tasks and duties as well as projects and separated them. A project is a large volume of conceptual concepts which have to be put together. A concept itself can be broken down into a task or a duty. A task is something that's time sensitive. A duty is something that has to happen sometime in the near future. Work smarter. Understand the difference between all the things that you have to do. Number 3, break it down. Break it down. Put it into a manageable way where it makes sense for you. I found myself, and throughout the years of experience that I've had in managing hundreds of clinics, and doctors ask me all the time, how do you do that? How do you do it so that you can manage that many clinics, answer that many calls? There's only a few hours in the day. I found that a normal day is enough time, but only if you make the best of that time. Part of it has to do with the fact that in my door, at times, it says, do not disturb me. When I'm on a call with a doctor, or I'm doing something which is important, I don't let anything intervene or interject or somehow put an obstacle in front of me. Can't do that. I realize there are all kinds of things going on in life, and we can't change the circumstances. Some of the things will happen regardless, but we can change ourselves, and change is what you need to do. You could do some things which will help you, some things which are better for you and better for society. Self-worth is a difference between making the difference between being lazy and being active. Self-worth means I know who I am. I know what I can do. I know what I can give. But it has to be used up. It has to be maximized. And if we keep doing the same thing and we do them in a way which is not good, meaning less every day, a little less every day, we also become a little less every day. And that's not what we want. So I'm going to give you 4 protocols, 4 ideas on how to manage your time properly to be able to maximize it. And I hope that the screen will show you when it'll be edited on some of the things that you want to do and how you want to prepare yourself. Number 1, run the day, or it will run you. Run the day means be in charge. Some will master and some will serve. There are different people in the world. You have to decide which one you want to be. Many people, as you know, will spend major time in minor things. They spend too much time on things that don't count. And therefore, time goes on, things happen, and they don't get where they need to be. You have to decide for yourself, if this is important, should I spend major time on these things or minor time? Make yourself a list of the things which are important. If this is a major thing, then it requires major time. If it's not, then ask yourself, why am I spending major time on such a minor thing? So, number 1, run your day or it will run you. Number 2, don't mistake movement with achievement. That's very important. That's so important. I'll tell you why. You have to be busy being productive, meaning things have to get done. Some people are going and going and going and going, but at the end of the day, they're just doing figure eights, around and around and around and around. They're not getting anywhere. Ask yourself the question, have I accomplished everything that I was supposed to do today? And that's what you can check. So if at the end of the day, you have a list, let's say, of things that you have to do, let's say 10 things, and you see that you've only accomplished 5 of them. Now, move those to the next day, and let's see at the end of that day, were you able to complete them? If you again at the end of the next day, let's say the next day you had 9 things, and you only accomplished 7 of them, you're still short. Then you realize that either you put too much on that plate, or your time is not being maximized. You have to make sure that you take care of that. You have to make sure that you understand what is it that's holding me back from finishing these concepts, from making sure that everything gets done. I have a prayer book which I use. And it's the same prayer book that I use every single day. At the end of the day comes the night time. I open the prayer book and I say my nightly prayers. I have a little card in that prayer book. And it says, have I done everything you could have done today? And the next sentence says, could I have done more? This, in the last many years that I've been using this, is a phenomenal opportunity for me to realize each and every day, did I make the best of that day and could I have done more? By me looking at this, by me understanding it, gives me the opportunity to change things, to make it better. Here's number 3. The key to management is good concentration. Being able to focus and look at things and decide, is this something that's important? People all the time talk about multitasking. You should be able to do this and do this and this. Multitasking is not a talent. To be able to do 2-3 things at the same time, if they're not done properly, if they're not completed, if they're not achieved appropriately, if they're not successful, it's a waste of time. It's better that you do one thing, but do it right and get it all done, than doing 4 things at the same time and not getting them done. That's how successes get accomplished. Wherever you are, be there. Be there at 100%. If you're speaking to a staff member, if you're speaking to a patient, if you're dealing with a vendor, if you're speaking to your spouse, if you're speaking to your child, be there. Focus. Good concentration. That's what it takes. Concentrate on wherever you are. Give whatever you're doing good attention. The gift of attention is the gift of appreciation. That's what it's all about. Here's number 4. Learn when to say no. If you can't do it, just say no. I can't do it. Don't let your mouth overload your back. It's a simple concept of knowing what is it that you can handle and how much you can take. Be eager to please, that's for sure. Yourself, your family, and everybody else. But don't be so eager to please everyone else and not get anything done. Success is a pleasure, not an idea. Something that you want to become of an enlightened person. It's called the enlightened time manager. The enlightenment manager, and what makes this person enlightened? Why would you call someone an enlightened time manager? It's the ability to schedule yourself to work only so many hours and get more done than someone who is a workaholic or a drifter or somebody who's not focused. Schedule your time a certain amount of hours and ask yourself, was I able to do that? Was I able to get there? So let's recap quickly because this is important. Number 1, run the day or we'll run you. Number 2, don't mistake movement with achievement. Number 3, the key to management is good concentration. And number 4, learn to say no sometimes. I hope this is helpful. I hope this will give you the opportunity to do everything that you want to do and then some. And hopefully this will get you what you're trying to do. All right. So this is the presentation for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to call 888-67-DAHAN, 888-673-2426, 673-2426.